Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and I am so proud and excited and happy to announce that we are shooting this today live from the Milken Global Conference 2023 in Beverly Hills, California. And for my long-time listeners and viewers, you might recognize the name here. We have Stephen Mead back on the show, known as the Bullseye Guy. And let me tell you, we have some content to cover today. He's got a new project working out in Dubai. Last I caught up with him at the NEOM conference, and also Greenway. I want to make sure I say this right. Green Wave funding. So we'll get into that as well. But first off, hey, Stephen, I just want to say welcome back on the show. So good to see you in person. Last time we were virtual.
We were virtual, and congratulations. I just heard 6,000 shows.
Oh, man.
Which is amazing. I'll have to go back. I was joking. I hope that I was in before there was a comma in all the shows. That'll make me legacy.
Oh, you're definitely legacy. Yeah. And great running into you here and getting you on the show finally in person. You. So a lot of projects to talk about, but we'll start this episode the way that we start them all. You know the drill with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Stephen, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Stephen, what mission matters to you?
And it's a great question, Adam. And mine's going to have two parts, and I'll get it within the 60 seconds. Number one, I like to build companies that nobody in the world's ever done before. So a lot of my mission is around building things that nobody in the world's ever done, which is cool. Underneath, though, there is a tenet. I have 10 things that are the companies I want. One of the tenets is I want to build companies that help other people be successful at what they're passionate about. Not my passion. What can I build that can enhance what other people are doing? And so a lot of the companies we've started are really about empowering other people to be their best self.
Fantastic. Love bringing mission-based executives on to share, why they do what they do, how they're doing, and really what we can all learn from that so that we can all grow together. So great having you on. And just to start out with, I've been asking people this question all day, and I don't know this answer from you, even though we've known each other for a while. Milken Conference, Milken Institute, where did all that start for you? How did you get involved?
I probably got involved. You and I have known each other a while. I probably got involved in Milken longer than you've been alive. Not quite, but my first Milken, I actually had to go look. I've been asked quite a few times. My first Milken was 2002.
Wow.
And I've lost count. I haven't been to all of them because sometimes, travel. Yeah. I've been to probably 15, 16 of them since 2002. I don't recall how I first got involved. I think it might have been through Dennis Levine. And you may not recognize Dennis Levine. Any of the legacy Milken people will. Michael Milken, Dennis Levine, and Ivan Boesky were some of the guys that were involved in Drexel long before Michael. And the character Gordon Gekko in Wall Street's based after Dennis Levine. And Dennis and Michael go way back. And so I may have been introduced to it, but it was 2002 was my first event, and it's been continual.
So it's safe to say you're a veteran.
I'm close to a dinosaur. I think a veteran might be somebody been 5 or 6 or 7 times. If you're over a decade, I think I'm getting old.
Yeah. So in all seriousness, though, what keeps you coming back? I know you traveled a lot of conferences. I mean, you're worldwide, and we'll talk about that as well in terms of some of the work you're doing in Dubai. But I know that this is one of the pillars. You keep coming back. Why?
Yeah, there's probably, I did one of my own podcasts a while ago, not the plug, but I did the top 10 events, and Milken always makes it. And it's probably 2.5 reasons. Reason number one is Michael, when he started, it really was mission driven for what he was doing. It started around the medical side. It moved into education. It's really turned into financial in the last decade. But a lot of what Michael was driven by was trying to make a difference and do big things. And because of that, he always got big thinkers. And so being around people who are also trying to do things that change the world, so number one, Michael and his mission was always a driver. 2, the crowd that he brought were people who were trying to really make a difference. And then the half is it's close. I live 3 blocks from here, but it's only a half because when I started coming in 2002, I was in Chicago.
Mm.
And I came for 8 or 9 or 10 years in Chicago, and this is certainly an event that's always worth coming. And now not only just LA, I was at Milken, Abu Dhabi, and I think there's been other ones around the world that I've attended also.
So one of the reasons why Mission Matters is on site, and just one of my personal missions in this whole thing, is I want to educate the greater population to participate, to get involved, to understand what the Milken Institute's doing. And also, for the corporate leaders out there that are, heads of corporations and large businesses, why they should get involved. And one of the ways that I thought, what better way to do that is to bring on, seasoned executives like yourself who are involved. So, speaking to that crowd of executives out there that have maybe kind of heard of it, or they feel like they should, or they don't know if they fit, like, what would you tell them?
Is this the senior executive
or the junior
executives? The senior one is really easy. There are not many events that are going to be at the caliber of both attendees and programming and speakers. Sometimes you'll get the tentpole speaker, and they're friends of mine, and they'll be the headliner. And then the rest of the content and programming is weak. Or you get that headliner, and that brings out a raft of characters who don't match up to what you're trying to do. The equilibrium of the Milken events have always been great speakers, but the programming of the content, really the depth of conversation is there, and then the attendees. And then what Milken does well, the one thing they do challenging is they'll overload on tracks. So you have to go, all right, where am I going to go?
900 plus this year, I'm told.
Yeah, there's a lot. Now, the good news is it's streamed and you can go back. You don't have to be in all of them. They also do a good job, though, of giving you time in between to breathe between sessions and meet people. And then the efficiency of the event's always been spectacular too. So it's something that if you haven't been, it's worth coming to. And everybody I've ever met that's been once has been excited about coming back.
Yeah, same here. Like I've had the exact same experience, and that's why we were excited to come back and also to cover the event.
Yeah.
So just switching up a little bit here, I want to start on some of the new projects that you've been working on. So let's start off with Green Wave funding. So tell us a little bit about that and why you're excited.
And I tell you what, Adam, when I tell you what it is, the name will stick with you, and it'll be super easy. The first time you heard it, people are like, wait. And some of this we'll give credit to Milken. We learned about this 2 years ago. Last year, it was a little more on our radar. In the world of sustainability and investing and funding, there's debt instruments that are called green bonds and blue bonds. Green bonds are just environmental bonds to fund projects that help the environment. And blue bonds, as you would guess, are for blue and the wave. So green wave, green and blue. $10.5 trillion is estimated to be sitting in just 4 or 5 banks that are here at the event. There's $10.5 trillion that is locked up and needs to go into projects around the world. And part of that sequence is the project needs certain qualifications, then it needs to get certified. There's just a step of sequences, and they're all independent, and there's no thorough process. We know enough of the top players and parties. We're going to put together the company called Green Wave Funding and make a platform that's going to help streamline and automate the onboarding and the process of taking a company, a country, or a government and helping them get funded to build things that, again, could change the world in a simple way. It's new airports in Egypt. It's food security. It's infrastructure. It's shipping. We just believe we funded $300 million in a solar car, not an electrical vehicle. So no EV, no impact on the environment, no lithium, no mining in a foreign country, no plugging into the grid when the governor tells you don't plug your car in. This is full solar, and this kind of concept of future of mobility is things that are cool. Yeah, so we are setting up Green Wave Funding. We're going to do a lot of the exchange through Bermuda and syndicate and really try and move. My goal would be $1 trillion. If we move the billion, if we move to $3 to help change the world, it would all be worth it.
Yeah, and when it comes to creating a platform like this,
Mhm.
give me a little bit of insight. That's big. Like to
You-
just the logistics and creating the platform to create that and to get people to plug in. Like it's big, and you do
it-
big things.
and I appreciate that. And
Yeah,
I do big things, but then I can see them simply
yeah,
and then execute. So I don't want to overeducate the crowd and give competitive advantage, but it's
yeah,
the first part is, can you find a good project? And we're fortunate, like even in the room here, I ran into my friends at Ford. They're like, oh, we did a $600 million bond. I ran into Sebastian at Accor, who owns Accor. Oh, we did a $700 million bond. I had no idea these guys are like
Even in
friend
the States,
circles of mine. And they're like, oh yeah, we did 400 million just as a test.
yeah,
The aspect of a bond is very simple. One is there's certain qualifications that the project needs.
Mhm.
Two, it needs a prospectus and a what's called a PPM, a private placements, and that's not rocket science. There's a lot of people do it, but there's a process to writing that. Then it needs to get certified, and in the what I'll call the old world, which is 10 years ago, there's something called LEED certified. If you're a building, you can try and get LEED certified, which says, hey, do you have solar panels or glazing on you? And it's a checklist, and the building gets audited, and you get a badge that says you're LEED certified.
Yeah.
To qualify as a sustainable bond, it's the same thing. You have to say, oh, we're a country building an airport, and it's going to do solar panels and water reclamation. And there's a qualification status, and there's companies that do that. So we're not going to do that. We're just building the onboarding process to help them get qualified.
Yeah.
Then it gets listed on an exchange, and there's two that are here. Luxembourg is here. We just met with them in Singapore. And then once it's there, then it has to be what's called syndicated, and it's syndicated out to investors. And the investors have to be 100 million and up. It's pension funds, hedge fund. So each of these things kind of exist in auxiliary buckets.
Yeah.
To build a platform means, are you in the deal flow of projects that actually are big enough to qualify? Can you help get it certified with a legitimate? Can you get it on an exchange, and do you have access to syndicators? Well, almost all of that's either relationship or automated.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a lot. It's more the partner relationships, because not everybody has the syndicators or knows. It's just it's moving parts, and all we want to do is just streamline that process.
Well, it sounds exciting to me. I'm excited to see this
Could be.
continue to evolve and continue. This is a big one.
It's one of the bigger ones we've done, but it's actually, Adam, one of the more simple ones for people to understand, especially at Milken, again, which is why we're here. Bond funding is not anything new or unique or exotic.
Sure.
I mean, we spent years in blockchain and crypto and fintech, and you're trying to do exotic things around the edges. This is traditional finance, just qualified as green or blue. Like, oh, we can do this.
Awesome. Another project I want to talk about that you're doing. So Earth Action Forum.
Yeah, that one will be fun.
How did this come about? Like, give me some.
So we're going with the acronym EAF because I want to compete with all the other acronyms.
Of course.
Other than Milken. Milken's the only one that's not really an acronym, but Anthony Scaramucci has SALT, which isn't a 3-digit acronym, but it's close. You have WEF, right? Davos. You have TED, Clinton Global Initiative, CGI, Richard Attias, FII. I'm going to Doha the end of this month for QEF, which is the Qatar. All of these 3-digit acronyms. And I'm like, all right, let's come up with one. Have to. But back into the world of sustainability, COP stands for Climate of the Parties, which is the United Nations big global sustainability event. This is the big. As big as Milken is, and we think Milken is great, it's dwarfed compared to COP. COP 27 was in Egypt, 100 world leaders, 2,000 celebrities, 35,000 people.
Yeah.
COP 28 Dubai is estimated to probably be 150 world leaders, heads of state, presidents of countries, probably 3,000 celebrities. Almost every celebrity has a cause, and probably 80,000 people.
Wow.
Right. So you have this massive convergence of people that are going. And then, unfortunately, a friend of mine called me and said, hey, I want to do a sustainability film there. Can you find me a movie theater, and can you find me a hotel? And I'm like, why do you need a hotel? Because he wanted free hotels. And what happened, Adam, is my mind started collapsing. And to move forward, Earth Action Forum is Earth Action Forum. Most of the panels are pontification panels. So what we've done, first time history of the world. Again, I like to do things Nobody in the world's ever
Yep.
done. And I'm clear nobody's ever done this and nobody's tried, but it sounds complicated. I don't think it's hard in scale. Number one, for 3 days, we've rented in Dubai an 80,000 square foot building in Dubai called the Vox Megaplex. 5.5 stories tall, 80,000 square feet.
That's huge.
What do you do in an 80,000 square foot building? Well, what's already in there? Number one, there's 12 movie theaters. This is a massive movie cinema. So now there's 12 theaters. The biggest one's 460 screens. 6 of them are 3D. One's 40. The big one's got a stage. It's got a green room, private security. Like, these are massive. There's 3 restaurants. One of the restaurants is 11,000 square feet with an arcade, bowling alley, 2 bars. Yes, you can sell alcohol and drink in Dubai. And a 5.5 story roly-poly jungle gym that goes up and over the entrance. I mean, this is a massive standalone building. Taking that and turning it into a private label pop-up for companies and countries that want to showcase what they're doing and don't want to spend millions of dollars in COP and have big content like Neom. When we were there, you and I were there, big screen, pretty content. The line is outside. That in a movie theater would be amazing. So
you're right.
So what? And the theater, just the hallway alone, where the 10 main theaters are, 65 feet long or wide, 300 feet long, marble, 12 feet tall. Now you're in a hallway where a brand, a country like Bermuda, can have their own theater, their own step and repeat, their own exhibitor booth, have their own people in the theater. But when they come out, there's 10 other companies and countries. So now you're mingling and networking in a closed environment. Davos, it's all up and down a promenade. Sundance is all in a promenade. South by is all over the place. This is a closed container.
Wow.
Then with the restaurants, we're looking at a couple big liquor brands who want to showcase. What we're doing with the content, the morning is going to be dedicated to kids. So if you're a brand, if you're a Unilever, if you're a Nestle, if you're an Accenture, if you're an LVMH, Christian Dior, if you're a Bermuda, if you're Carnival Cruise, which we talked to here, and they're like, wow, we've never thought of this. We want the morning from 8 to 12 to be dedicated to kids. So what can the brand do to showcase kids?
Yeah.
And I've had some say, this is amazing. We don't usually have that. Milken's not formatted to kids.
Yeah.
We've had 2 brands said, well, we don't have kid content. Said, well, why? But again, there's not an opportunity at a Milken or a Davos.
For sure.
And so now they're thinking creatively, what can they do? So 8 to 12 is kids. 1 to 5 is panels and keynotes that the brands bring in their own. That's where the difference, Adam. I'm not formatting something like Milken. I'm not trying to bring in speakers and figure out content. It's like, here, Bermuda, David, Premier, who would you like to invite on stage? Who would you like to show? This is your private theater. 6:30, we're doing a sustainable film festival where we're showcasing film because it's a theater.
Of course.
Bringing in celebrities who are in the films who also then can be on stage and meet the kids.
Wow.
9 o'clock, we're opening the theater to public showing of the documentaries of the sustainable films. And then we negotiated with Vox to show the film and the panels and the morning content across all 54 cinemas in 7 countries and 600 screens across UAE. Never been done before. And when you show the film, we negotiate. I'm pretty sure we did by the time this shows. Before the film, normally there's trailers of the next movie. What we've negotiated is for not to show trailers, but to show the commercials and the content of the brand. So now that brand gets showcased across the entire Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman. Yeah.
So all of those theaters.
All of the theaters. It's broadcast across before the film. And Vox is going to run a contest for filmmakers where now the filmmaker gets to win a contest.
Wow.
We're trying to get Lego, where Lego's our target, to rent the roly-poly 5-story jungle gym, run a global contest for kids. Now kids can be in a theater or in a roly-poly doing Lego interactives with their parents and kids, or the parents can be networking on stage while the kids are there. There's not a single event that I'm ever aware of, that's formatted to educational for kids at that level and that parents and kids can do together. So that's the 3-day Earth Action Forum. And then we end up on the Friday with a global red carpet event. Sustainability awards. We're partnering with UNGA, the Youth United Nations. They're going to use our platform. We're calling it Oscars for Impact. So we're going to let them use it as an awards platform to give away an award to their 2 celebrities that are, they've got different awards. These are major stars for the United Nations Awards. We're in discussions with a few other media companies for them to do their awards. And then I'm almost done. I don't want us to run out of time.
No,
again, never been done. These are all moving parts. Princess Diana had a very famous sapphire necklace. Very, very famous. Like I'm looking around people are, it was a 71 karat sapphire. It used to be a choker. A friend of mine, I put her in business in Dubai doing fancy, high-end fancy jewels, got this idea. She wants to do iconic collections for women. Wants to represent and honor homage to iconic women. Ended up getting access to and acquired 151 karat cushion cut cashmere sapphire. It's the largest GIA certified cushion cut cashmere stone in the world. It's incredible. 31 karat cashmere cut ring. Says, oh, I think I want to do something for Princess Diana. What? So what we've done is we're creating a Princess Diana tribute collection. Necklace, earring. Working with, we believe it'll be finished. My friend Stephen Ball runs Queen's Commonwealth Trust. There's discussions for some of the royals to be at the Friday Night Award, along with the opportunity for the winner to get knighted. A portion of the proceeds goes to fund the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, which is the charity that Princess Kate has to help kids and charities and things like that. So we're going to try and have an auction of the largest sapphire in the world in connection with the royals, but proceeds going to fund their charity.
Oh man. Talk about
that's the Friday night
capping off an event. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And so it sounds like a lot. The harder part, which is somewhat easier for me, but difficult, is I have those relationships of people who are looking for a venue and could bring that content. If it was me trying to bring celebrities and trying to get speaker, that's not me, but formatting something that would help, again, back to my mission. This will help other people be successful at what they're passionate about.
And that's the goal. One of the things I love about the format too, though, is that there's different ways to do things, but in this way, like the content, the program, like they're going to come with their best stuff, right? Like there's this event, huge undertaking, lots of individual, a lot of eyeballs. I mean, broadcast, you said, I think 50 plus screens, the branding, like all the things that are going to happen, like the thoughts, the ideas, the networking, the
level,
content,
the ability, the
access. All of it. So when you put all that together, the programming and who you put forward as a company or a corporation or a country that's looking to have a screen or to be part of the event.
Yeah, or have a presence at COP. This is their presence. Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. Well, Stephen, first off, it's been great reconnecting with you here at Milken and just catching back up.
Call me back on the next 20 after 20,000, 25, whatever, the century mark.
Come on, you're a regular there. But if somebody's watching this and they're listening in and they're tuning in and they want to, learn more, follow your journey and also follow the event, follow, the Green Wave Fund, like how do people connect? Like how do they?
Yeah, appreciate that, Adam. The easiest way is the bullseyeguy.com, which is my sort of personal brand. We have Big Bamboo and our incubators, but the Bullseye Guy is where I do my podcast. It's where we make our announcements. It's where we have all the companies listed. And it's just like it sounds, the bullseyeguy.com.
Yep. And then, I love podcasters and talking about podcasting. So you got to do a plug. I mean, talk about the podcast. I want my audience definitely to go over, check it out and subscribe. Like maybe
mine's just the Bullseye Guy podcast. And mine is I do different things. Like I put one out on green bonds for education. I've done a lot on blockchain education. And then I interview, friends of mine. My last podcast interview was Richard Quest from CNN, Quest on Business, who's, his audience, 125 million people. And he travels around the world. And so but those are fun because just like you, this one's a little more formal and I like and appreciate it. Sometimes mine and with Richard, I'll give Richard a plug. Richard Quest was fascinating because we got through the normal podcasts and he looked at me and anybody that knows his story will know this. If not, it's okay. Richard said, "Oh, is that all you want to ask me?" I go, "Well, what do you mean? What don't you want to ask me about?" And he'd had some prior indiscretions that got arrested. There's some things in his background that I guess most people sabotage him on. And I'm like, "Well, why would I ask that? I want to know about how you got to be Richard Quest, what your motivation is, not that." But he actually wanted to talk about it. And so sometimes podcasts allow you to bring out something different because you have a little longer format and a little more intimacy. So congratulations to you. Keep up the great work, and on to your next 6,000.
Awesome. Well, for everybody tuning in, we'll definitely put all the links into the show notes so that you can just click on the links, go check out the Bullseye Guy and all of Steven's content. Definitely go subscribe to that podcast. So all good there. Steven, really, thanks again for coming to the show.
Great seeing you.